Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Play Choices Podcast, the podcast you hear. I'm your co-host, Lucas.
Well, technically host for today.
Oh!
Technically, I'm the co-host.
Don't gas me up. Don't gas me up.
So yeah, Lucas is your host for today, and then I am the co-host and producer, V. Hello.
Now, before we jump into this podcast, I would like to give a very special bodyguard our condolences for the situation that he's going through. Eric is a very important bodyguard, and he's well liked in the studio of Play Choices Podcast. I would like
Amen.
to I would like to take this time to honor his support for us by reciprocating that and supporting you in your troublesome time. V, would you like to say some words?
Yeah, so I think we've talked about Eric a couple of times on this podcast, and he's also been a guest. So I think our listeners should be, at least somewhat familiar with who Eric is. But Eric has been listening to his podcast not quite since the beginning, but to be honest with you, I really can't remember a time where he wasn't a listener to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Like what was his podcast before Eric? I don't know.
Right,
And
right.
the reason why we're bringing up Eric is because Eric traditionally would listen to our podcast, first thing on Saturday morning with his dog, Zach. And Zach has been his pet for quite a while, lives with Eric and his wife. And Zach was a very good boy.
Mm-hmm.
From all intents and purposes, from what I saw, Eric had nothing but good things to say about Zach. And unfortunately, as sad as it is, even though we love our pets, they age. Sometimes they get sick. And Zach had to be put down recently, which is I've never had to put a pet down, so I can't pretend to know what that feels like. But I know how much I love my dogs,
Mm-hmm.
and I can only imagine how that has impacted Eric and his wife. So I just wanted to go ahead and take a moment to acknowledge Zach because he was Eric's walking buddy when he listened to the podcast, and therefore he is our walking buddy too.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Zach, we love you. You are forever a good boy. And if you don't mind, Lucas, I wanted to read something that Eric wrote for us to put in the podcast.
Absolutely. Oh my God, yes.
We're also going to have, if you're watching on YouTube, we're also going to have a couple of photos of Zach on the YouTube video during this time so you can see just how cute he is, because he is a little cutie patootie. I think he's a black lab.
Oh, my dog was a lab.
Oh, watch him not be a black lab, and Eric's gonna be like V.
Yeah, I know, right? My dog had a tail,
Yeah, my dog has a nose.
Right.
Okay, let's read this. This is a very, very sweet and heartwarming message. So Eric wrote, when I first listened to Play Choices podcast, I was walking with Zach. We take walks every morning, and one Saturday morning in April, I decided to listen to V and Lucas and Kat, since it was a Choices chat, our first Choices chat. I want to say he said he got introduced to our podcast in episode 9,
Mm-hmm.
if I remember. And I was hooked on the podcast, and Zach kept looking back at me as I laughed at all the jokes and commentary on one of my favorite games. This was different since I usually quietly listened to true crime while looking over my shoulder. As I continued getting hooked, I would sometimes play it over my Bluetooth speakers just because I enjoyed listening to some episodes and enjoyed the jokes. At first, Zach would even put his head up whenever V screamed or Lucas laughed. They were new voices to him, and he didn't seem to know how to handle them, but after a few weeks, they became a constant part of our lives, and he stopped looking up when they got out of control. Oh, I'm not sure what I'm going to do when I wake up on Saturdays without him to walk with me, but I'm glad I will have the podcast to listen to. Zach and I have appreciated all the Sunday mornings. Thank you for being you. Signed, Zach and Eric.
Oh my God, that is so sweet. Oh, thank you so much.
I don't really know. I don't think anyone really knows what to say when you have to grieve someone who's important in your life. But I've looking at the photos, Zach looked like a very happy dog, and I think that Eric and his wife were able to give him a very good life with plenty of long Saturday walks. And so thank you for allowing us to be a part of your life, and thank you for sacrificing Zach's ears to listen to us. I'm sure he found that highly disturbing until he just decided to ignore us. So thank you, Eric, for listening. Zach, we love you. You're very cute. And if you want to see what Zach looks like, I will have the photos up on the YouTube version of this podcast if you would like to go see what a little cutie patootie Zach is. So here is my very uncomfortable segue back into the episode. I don't know how to transition.
Right.
Cute dogs. Love you, Zach.
We will be spending this episode discussing chapters 8 to 10 of Queen Bee Book 1. This episode is not spoiler safe, so if you want to avoid spoilers for these chapters, please read that first, and we'll be right here for you to come back and listen. As a reminder, this book has a plus 17 content warning. We will be discussing adult themes and romantic encounters with a professor, so please feel free to leave and join us on a different episode if that makes you feel uncomfortable.
I also think we should mention that this particular episode also has like some themes of like stalking and harassment
Oh my
and
god, that's so funny.
kidnapping.
I literally have a second content warning in the beginning of in the beginning of chapter 10. I'm
Right.
like, yo guys, we're gonna reiterate this because definitely these triplet of chapters are like very the content warning is like very much needed.
Yeah, so something that wouldn't normally apply to our normal Queen Bee episodes, just because of what gets discussed, like it is something that I would say, like, just keep it in mind. If that disturbs you, join us on a different one.
Our default character is named B. Hughes, so we will be referring to our character as that. So chapter 8 is titled Lying Low. The chapter summary is, maybe it's time to take a break from the limelight. For the first time, no news is good news. The chapter will open up with the tea gossiping about that video that bitch Poopy put online.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it was just so aggressive from the beginning, so I had to.
No, because
I'm collected myself. I'm good.
I was like, I'm going to write these notes as authentically as possible, and
I mean that's your job as host.
Yes.
Is insert some pizzazz into the notes. So you do you.
And the start of chapter 8 really slapped me in the face because everyone just talking about that hog calling video. Yes, I'm from a farm.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the fucked up thing about that video is even from chapters 8 to 10, we still got this bitch mentioned. Even at the end of chapter 10, it was still being mentioned. I know. God damn.
I know. We is gonna get there. But I'm like, oh my god, okay. After the tease text post, scene will start with B getting bummed out about the hate on the internet. And so she decides to kind of change the gossip narrative towards Poppy by sending the screenshots of her talking shit about her friends to the T. Now, I don't know what this scene would look like if you didn't take the diamond scene in the last chapter.
Because I certainly fucking did.
I certainly did. I certainly did.
And I will spend whatever money I need to take this bitch down.
And unfortunately, most second source YouTube plays, they always take the diamond scene. So like
if you decided to either be save your money and be a little frugal, or if you decide to be a nice person, then I'm sorry, we did not take the same route. So
most def. The post will quickly blow the fuck up, and it kind of shocks me how much it blows up and how many people are kind of shocked by it, because it's just kind of a slap in the face to me, because I'm stay trying to tell you about Poppy and who she is as a person, and y'all think that her talking shit about her friends is the most exciting thing that I could have posted about her, but I digress. We move forward.
Well, it's so funny. There was a comment that, because I think after you post something, it shows you all the comments and stuff. And there was a comment that was like, if any of you actually are surprised by this, then you just haven't been paying attention. Yeah. And it's so obvious. She's the meanest person on campus, and you think she's nice to her friends. No.
Not at all, right? Zoey will appear and shame you for posting the screenshots just because she feels like you should be in more of a mental clarity when you do warfare like that. She will take your phone and she would decide that it's time for a shopping spree. Now, I will add that there's a couple of like flirtatious comments that can be made in this discussion. Zoe will hand you your phone back to reply to an email stating that the professor will be away for the weekend due to a gala award ceremony. This is where I let it go, V. I gotta be honest. This is where I let it go.
Oh no.
I did. Cause you know me, I was flirting with Zoe, and then Zoe was like, "Oh my
Uh-huh.
God, look, the professor, here's your phone back." And I said, "I hear you loud and clear, best friend."
You said I am tired of being pushed and pushed and pushed.
I said, "I hear you loud and clear."
Push
Okay.
me to the edge.
Okay. Okay. I was like, fine, fine. B will decide that she should go to the Met Gala for mainly two reasons. One, to get
The Met
away.
Gala.
Oh my God! What?
Did you say the Met Gala?
First of all, that's not even written in my notes.
I was like, is that a joke?
Clearly, guys, you can see what has been on my side of the internet.
Right. Luca's just been staring at. Let me guess who were your favorite outfits. Definitely Lil Nas X.
Of course. You should know
Of
another
course.
one. Oh my God. Let me see if I can give you a clue. She single-handedly made the designer stop using animal fur.
Oh, Billie Eilish.
Yes, bitch. She ate up.
Yeah.
Do you hear me? She ate that up. I was like, ooh.
Let me Billie. I said the titties
She
out.
ate up. She ate up. Ooh.
Oh, people do not. I saw people rank it, and like, don't get me wrong, like a lot of celebrities looked really good at the Met Gala. So I saw people putting rankings and stuff of like how everybody looked, and I said, "How Billie not your top 3?
No,
like, I just do not understand."
And y'all don't appreciate her because like y'all would stay talking shit about her doing her like baggy clothes, kind of like emo punk look.
Yes.
And when she come out on this floor looking ate up like she did, y'all don't say nothing. Y'all don't deserve her.
My bitch looking good.
Y'all better not ever play Happier Than Ever in your life. You hear me? I better not hear. No,
I never want to hear you listen to Bad Guy in my life.
Jesus, she looks so good. Okay.
She look amazing.
B will decide to go.
So B's getting ready for the Met Gala.
Yes. Yeah, she getting ready for the Met Gala to A, get away from the internet and the backlash, and B, I thought it was nice that in the dialogue, she genuinely wanted to just support the professor because she knew that like there was no one there to support them. I like that. You will ask Zoe for a dress and she'll present you with a diamond outfit that will lead to a steamy scene between them two. Did you take this outfit, aka the scene?
No, because
I already know.
First of all, okay, I know that we don't like really do the whole like
splurge
what
and
was it called?
skip.
Splurge or
Yes.
skip. We don't. Oh, and let me just briefly explain why. I feel like it was a very similar type of comment all the time because like you and I do not typically lend ourselves to buying the diamond outfits. So it was like 99% of the time we weren't really that intrigued by the diamond outfit, and then the 1% that we did purchase was because it came with a scene or something like that. So I was like, I'm just kind of tired of having this discussion like over and over again, so that's why we decided to get rid of it. But for me personally, looking at that diamond outfit, and I didn't pick it, and let me tell you what makes me upset. That outfit was ugly, first of all. It looked like your bad middle school prom dress. Like, that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
And then when I was like, oh, I'll wear the blue dress, which to me is a lot sleeker. It's like a little bit of like a slimmer cut. So to me, it just shows your shape a little bit more. And I thought B looked beautiful in it. And Zoe was like, oh, yeah, you want to wear the blue dress? It was like a prom dress. And I said, excuse me? You think the blue one looks like a prom dress? Like, I was like, are we even looking at the same dress? So, no, it was ugly as fuck. And then plus, like, can I just say, let me just put this out there for the duration of this episode. As much as I am, like, an Ian stan, I really didn't like any of the allies in these couple next chapters. I think, like, I don't really know if I've alluded to this with you, but I've said it to like other discussions that I've had on like Twitter and stuff when I'm talking about Queen Bee, is that the professor gets very like not fun to romance at a certain point in Queen Bee, and like this is kind of for me where it starts.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? It is the complete. It's not the opposite for me, but
Mhm.
it's a slap in the face because coming from you who has, consistently chose these diamond scenes with the professor, there is one diamond scene that is coming up. It's either in this chapter or the next chapter. That seems like
Mhm.
things are gonna finally turn around, and then they don't.
Mhm.
And I said, "What in the slap
Right.
in the face is this?
Yeah.
What in the slap in the face is this?" I
Yeah.
was so mad, but I also we'll get there. I also was happy.
But even
um,
with like Zoe, like it seems so weird. Like I wish someone could explain this to me because it seems so weird for her to be like, "Girl, let's get you in this fine ass dress that way you can seduce the
yes,
professor." And
yes,
then if you get the dress, you can kind of like lick Zoe's neck a little bit. Like I didn't
yes.
quite like I don't really like understand what's going on in the LI dynamics of this game. So like to me I was like the dress ugly and I'm confused by what's going on between the two of us. So I don't know. I don't know.
We're gonna hold on to that
I did not get the
confusion.
outfit.
You said fuck everything about this.
Yeah.
No, the confusion truly just adds more in that very last chapter, and again, like we'll talk about it. I
Mhm.
did get this. This I had in my head to be like my farewell for Zoe.
Oh,
Hmm.
you said baby kiss me one last
Yeah, one
time.
last time. I said I'm gonna
Mhm.
see this hit a brick wall one last time again.
Mhm. Right.
But the scene is just very, very short, very flirty. Zoe will take you to the changing room and like she kind of like pulls the dress zipper down and introduces like a choice of contact that you can like start flirting with her with. And then the
Okay.
two are interrupted by a sales clerk and then they leave and that's it.
I mean,
Again,
basically the nanny affair changing room
yeah,
scene. Like
basically.
it's the same thing.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, I'm
absolutely.
glad I didn't waste any diamonds on that, but good to know.
So once they leave the store, Bee will see Veronica across the street and she will convince Zoe to let her go and try to recruit her, kind of work her magic, even though she's supposed to be giving up on this whole like Poppy vendetta for one day. She catches Veronica outside where she will insult you by showing you the pig filter inspired by the video that Poppy posted of you.
Right.
I said, we already off to a bad start, Veronica. I said, we already off to a bad start. There is an option for you to try to like seduce her to join your forces, but Veronica will basically, decline and like see through it and say that like she doesn't have to like Poppy in order for her to like be under her protection and have good graces with her. Which
Yeah.
I can respect from
I feel like that's like everyone in Poppy Squad is like, do y'all
absolutely,
really like her?
absolutely,
Like, what's
absolutely.
going on?
Veronica's like, no, I'm literally using, I'm using her good graces to help me get money. You hear me? Like, I'm after
Pretty
this bread.
much.
Um,
Yeah.
B will end up tricking Veronica and kind of like provoking her to talk bad about a PR shoot that she's about to film. And there is a
Mhm.
diamond option for you to kind of like exploit that and like record her really going in on this brand in order to blackmail her into swaying her to join your side. Did you take this diamond scene?
Yes.
I
Yeah, I
like it.
did.
This is one of like I always love the diamond scenes that are used in order to like sway people to join you. Like they're so entertaining to me. But the diamond scene will start with Veronica and B walking to the makeup store where they'll see like a Poppy advertisement. So Veronica starts getting really upset because obviously like Poppy's making commission just of having like a cardboard cutout of her while Veronica has to like physically wear their shitty makeup that like messes with her skin, whatever, whatever.
Mhm.
So they start like literally vandalizing Poppy's cardboard cutout, which I love. And Veronica just starts this really bitchy rant about the company and how she hates doing these PR ads for them. And B's recording the whole thing. Again, a store clerk will find them too and call security, resulting in them running out. And I'm like, B, the amount of time you've ran into security or like ran into a store clerk in the past half chapter, let's calm it down. But once they escape, B will tell Veronica, look, join my group or I will post this video of you talking shit about the people who pay your bills on the T.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Veronica will actually respect that and just be like, all right, you got me, fine.
Before we get on with the rest of the episode, let me interrupt with some plugs. You can leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/play-choices-podcast/message. It could show up in a future episode. You can also directly support this podcast by going to anchor.fm/play-choices-podcast/support, which will allow you to support us on a monthly basis. You can also go to streamlabs.com/playchoicespodcast/tip to make a one-time tip. All of these links will also be available in the episode description. Thank you for your support, and let's get back to the episode. Yeah, I mean, I really don't understand this scene to be okay. I kind of enjoyed it, kind of didn't. Mostly because I think Veronica's quite bland, which I think B kind of comments on when she shuts off the live stream, how her face just like completely changes from being someone who's like entertained to someone who's
Yes,
really
she
bored.
does. She does, yeah.
Yeah, I think she's quite bland. Now, I did like some of her like one-liners they made for like, the makeup products. Like I thought that was fun, but also it just seems so weird to me how like quickly Veronica turned into trusting B to saying that stuff with
Yes.
her. Because I'm like, Veronica, although she seems very dull to me, she doesn't seem stupid. So I was like, it's just very weird how in these recruitment scenes how often they turn into like bribery or blackmail scenes and how no one seems to catch on until the last possible second.
Especially for this particular interaction, because you would think that Veronica is so used of like having a phone camera on her that she would never
Yes.
act out on that. And I can't imagine B holding this phone in a way that she could not see it in her hand. Like I just can't.
I know, it just seems like, I don't know, if Veronica was as savvy as I would like her to be, she should have had like an NDA on her. Like,
Yes,
I'll write an
absolutely.
NDA. I, B. Hughes, will not disclose any information about Veronica Lombardi.
Yes,
Like,
absolutely, absolutely. The way contracts are just like fucking mentioned in this series, it's like you would think
mm-hmm.
Veronica would be a little bit more smarter.
Yeah.
Um, but there will be a time jump after the scene, and you will appear in the lobby of the museum that is hosting the professor's award ceremony. As B is
Mm-hmm.
walking into the gathering, she'll get a text from Poppy. I don't know if this was in previous chapters, but I'm just not realizing in this chapter that Poppy's contact name is Satan, which I truly
Yeah.
find
Yes.
hilarious. Um, she'll basically like threaten you for posting the screenshots of her talking shit about her friends. I think at one point she called you like a corn fed lard ass piece of trash. And I was like, okay,
Yes.
wow, all right.
Yes. I think she said, she was like, I will make your children's children regret
Yes,
their
yes,
awful.
yes. She is scary. Like they write her lines so scary. I love it though. I love
Mm-hmm.
Poppy. But B would turn off the phone in the middle of like the text rant and like focus on the task at hand, which is like, supporting the professor, being really cute.
Right.
So you walk in and you find the professor dressed like impeccably. Oh, this professor probably the woman version it probably looks stunning as well. But Ian looked
Yeah,
good.
no,
He
Ian was
looked
looking like
good.
a
You hear
bag of
me?
chips and then some. Like, oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And the bag of chips that's like filled to the top, like the ones that ain't filled with air.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The professor will give their speech thanking everyone for the nomination. And as the professor is, doing their thing, the professor will spot you mid speech and kind of like drink you in, kind of get like shocked that you're there, collect
Mm-hmm.
themselves, pretty quickly as they always do.
Right.
And after they finish their address, they will come right to you. The conversation is like what you would expect in this situation. The professor questions why B is there. B will flirt back with some cute replies. But for some reason, this scene does take on a new light for me.
Mm-hmm.
I found it like a very tender moment between them. The professor doesn't really like resist all too much, and they even will like introduce you to some of their colleagues. And then like there is an interaction with two of them that they like flat out state like, oh, the professor has never had a girl, present to these gatherings before.
Mm-hmm.
And, B will play it off cunningly, as she always does. And that's when the professor will kind of get like, serious with you and inform you that like there's no like Belvoir staff members here. because
Mhm.
this is just solely dealt with like their degree and their specialty in anthropology, which explains kind of their spontaneity. After some heavy flirting, the professor encourages you two to get out of there, and B will escape with them to be like encountered with a rainstorm, and they will kind of just like, you know, walk across the street to the train station where there is an option to kiss him. Mm. And I did take that option.
Yes.
The romance will end because, you know, the gala attendees will walk out.
Can I just say something? I had to look it up because I think in every single Queen Bee episode we have butchered what the professor teaches.
Yeah. Yes.
And I
Yes.
don't know if we'll ever get it right, but can I
No.
just say it is anthropology. It is. And
Anthropology.
I
Oh, like the
corrected
store.
myself in the last episode because I was like, no, that's the name of the store, but it is
The store.
anthropology.
Okay. Got you. Okay.
Just so
Okay,
we
man.
can say that and listen, just because I've clarified don't mean we won't fuck it up again.
Absolutely.
Don't
Absolutely.
raise your expectations. We're over 30 episodes deep at this point. You know how we are.
Okay. We human.
Mhm.
We mispronounce it. We keep it moving. You hear me?
Yeah, exactly. We will not stutter. We will not go back and correct ourselves. Is what it is.
Right. Right.
Okay, sorry to interrupt.
No,
Just
no,
wanted
no,
to do a quick
no.
PSA.
But there is a diamond scene to kind of get some alone time with them. Did you take the scene?
Baby, you know I did.
I took it so fast. Do you hear me? I took it so
You know
fast.
I did because to be honest, if you don't take the scene, it's such a long scene. I don't know how the
It is.
chapter's supposed to
Oh
end
my!
if you
I
don't
don't.
take
I
it.
and that's the thing. Like when I tell you that Queen Bee got a knife to my fucking bank account,
Mhm.
because when it comes to like the true diamond scenes with like, you know, spending time with like Li, well, I don't know why I put that spending time with the professor, right?
Mhm.
And trying to recruit, you know, these bad bitches to join your side.
I just realized what you said when you said I
Yeah.
don't know why I put the S.
Cause Zoe ain't no fucking Li. We've talked, we literally
No.
beat that horse to death. We have beat that horse to death,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Um, but the scenes are so good. And
Mhm.
as I am a man of my word, in last Queen Bee episode, I said that I would be pursuing the professor if the
Mhm.
opportunity was like something that I could go for. And
Mhm.
this scene, the build up, the reason why B is there, the professor's reaction, the flirting, it's it for me. It does it for me. It's giving me Billie Eilish on the Met Gala. You feel me? Like
Oh,
it's
okay.
good. Yeah, I just love how this scene was like, you know, written, written.
Mhm. It's fine, boo. We just keep it
we
moving
go.
like we
We gonna keep
said.
it moving for right.
We're not perfect, okay?
um, if you do take this scene, the two of you will kind of, you know, end up in this like deserted park and take shelter under a gazebo. Um, the professor and B will start making out, getting a little
Mhm.
handsy, all while like confessing how long they have yearned for this. And that's what I
Mhm.
like to hear. When the professor was like, "Oh, I've been waiting for this," I'm like, "Yes, you have. Yes, you have."
Mhm. And
The
so have I.
mm-hmm.
A long what is this chapter 8? Are we still in chapter 8?
Yes,
A long
yes.
8 chapters I've been waiting.
The professor will tell you that they have to be consumed by their lusts, and basically like let's get out of here. Let's find a place that we can do the D. So
Mhm.
B finds a carriage for them, and they kind of like
Which
crawl
is so
into it.
funny.
It
Can
is
we just
so
say what
funny.
so random? Like
It's giving me so much like modern like Cinderella vibes,
yeah,
like
pretty much.
showing up out of nowhere, you know, oh, he's reciprocating. Well, again, I play Ian with Ian, the
Right, we
male
both play
Li
male
version.
LIs. So if you hear us using like he, him pronouns, things like that, it's because we both play the male version of the professor. The female version's name is Ina,
Yes, yeah.
and the male version's is Ian.
But he reciprocating feelings, and I'm like, yo, yes, it's cute. It's cute.
Mm-hmm.
So they crawl into this carriage, and you know, they do the
They
deed. You
fuck.
know, the two of them can fuck or make love. You literally choose the speed here. You
I
choose the
know,
speed.
literally. They gave you the option of like whether he's rough or soft and slutter.
Yeah,
So
it's just oof. and the
Mm-hmm.
scene will end in a blissful, completion. That's all I gotta say about that. Like,
You know what? And that's the most PG-13 way we can say that.
So you and the professor will leave the park and kind of, head back to the dorm. While the professor's dropping you off, B will mention like seeing them on campus, and like this will kind of like result in like the professor's guard shooting back up.
Hmm.
The professor will, basically throw you out, shut the door. The driver will pull off. Like it's just
It
the
really kind of felt like we just survived a kidnapping, to
yeah,
be honest with you. Like it gives me the same type of vibes because like the way that I don't know. And here's the thing. The end of the scene is obviously uncomfortable. I'm not trying to contest that, but what confused me is how confused B was.
no, so
Like
confused.
she
Yeah,
was like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "It's so obvious what's happening. Like
yes,
you made a statement that alluded back to your normal day-to-day lives,
absolutely,
and it took
absolutely.
the professor out of the fantasy of what could be a relationship with you."
Mhm, mhm.
And that's why they started acting weird. Like I don't know why. Like to me, like I do like B as a character, but she kind of dumb, to be honest. Like
Well,
she's a little naive.
to me, you know what? That is, yeah, I would say naive because I understand that from B's point of view, the situation might have been different. Like, wow, like we were talking about, the professor was reciprocating feelings, but the
Hmm.
professor straight up said, like, I'm doing this because there's no one around. And the moment you get back to
Exactly.
campus and say, "Hey, look, we're on campus. You want to get mad? He kicked you out."
100%. Like I just did not understand. And then like in the next scene, B goes to Zoe and is like, or sorry, in the beginning of the next chapter,
Yep.
B goes to Zoe and is like, I just don't know what happened. And Zoe's like, duh, like here's
Duh.
what the fuck happened. I'm like, B, you cannot be this blinded by love that you don't see logic. Like you have to
Right.
understand that it's not just as simple as like, oh, I love you, let's be together. Like it's just not that fucking simple.
No, not at all. Like, I mean, come on. Like, truly, like, bit of an airhead moment here. Like,
A little, yeah.
I mean, she watched Cinderella. They don't get together automatically.
Exactly.
Like, come on now.
Exactly.
The scene will end with B being confused. Only her
And I
though.
don't know
Everyone
why.
else,
Only her. Everyone else understands what's going on. B is the only person who has not caught up to the plot yet.
yes, absolutely. And that will conclude chapter 8. Chapter 9 is called Undercover. And the chapter summary is secret secrets are no fun. Well, sometimes, but not really. Now, when I tell you, out of every synopsis I've ever read with the choices chapter summary, this is the one that I was like, I have no idea where this chapter is about to go. Like, there is no indication of what could happen in this chapter.
No, literally.
And I was just like, I was kind of shocked a little bit. I was like, all right, we're going to keep it moving forward.
Yeah.
Um, the chapter will of course open up with like the t text post as it normally does, and they are kind of recapping whatever choices that you picked in the last chapter. Again, I don't really know how that gameplay would be if you didn't have the screenshots of Poppy talking shit about her friends.
Right.
But the tea will foreshadow like a storm coming because there hasn't been any like real tea, which I don't understand because the hog video is still the only thing people could talk about. People still
Right.
talking about Poppy talking shit about her friends. Like, what real tea could really, shake up the surrounding, I don't know, stratosphere of social media? Like, I didn't understand that. But I digress. Zoe and B will be kind of in like the common area, and B will be venting about the situation last night with the professor. I don't really know what the dialogue is if you didn't take the diamond scene again. I can imagine that it still focuses on like the hot and cold nature of, Sour Patch Professor.
Yeah.
Zoe, the great friend with inconsistent LI, dialogue lines,
Amazing friend, awful Li. Like it's just so confusing. And
well,
this scene in particular, I'm gonna let you describe it, but I have a rant to
yes,
go on once you're done describing it.
I got you. The last sentence is right here. Will
Mhm.
literally shower you with confidence and then be like,
Mhm.
"Go talk to the professor." Like,
Yes.
I was like, "Wow, what's your rant,
Yes.
babes?"
Here's the part, okay. So you B, let's just say you as in
Mm-hmm.
B. So
Mm-hmm.
you go to your best friend who
Mm-hmm.
you also kind of want to fuck, right? Let's just presume that B also kind of wants to fuck Zoe because
Right.
this is where the rant comes in. You go to your best friend who you kind of want to fuck, and your best friend also kind of want to fucks you. Then you go, there's this professor. Here's what happened last night. Here's all the sordid details about what we did to each other's genitals.
Mm-hmm.
And then Zoe's telling you like, oh my, you need to go talk to them. Like, don't let them sit
Yeah.
in their feelings. Go after if that's what you want. And then Zoe's like, what do you want? And you're presented with three options. I want him.
Yep.
I only want to hook up, or I'm just his TA, right?
Right.
So let's assume for the sake of this conversation, you pick one of the first two. That kind of alludes to that there is at least some type of attraction there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then there's this narration that's like Zoe's face kind of falls. And I'm like, I really don't understand where you get the
Yes.
nerve
Yeah.
to write
The
that in the
Oh my god. And
narration.
you know what is so crazy? I did not know where you were going with this rant, but I completely agree because I distinctly remember reading this chapter, right? And whatever if you choose the flirty option towards the professor, it will the text block is literally just that sentence where it's like Zoe's face falls. And
Because
so
they
when I
want you to pay attention to it.
Mhm.
But then it's like, why even call attention to it? Because y'all don't even write Zoe as an
Exactly. Because the
ally.
moment you click, the next words out her mouth is go run to the professor. And not in a
Literally.
sarcastic way, but in like a genuine
No.
like
A genuine go, bitch. And then here's what she's like, oh, well, let's go put on this nice outfit for you to go flirt with the professor. Okay? Which I'm pretty sure, like, no matter whether you say, like, oh, I just want to be your TA, or whether you confess your feelings for the professor, Joey's going to put you in an outfit. Because I'm sure, even if, like, and I'm just guessing because I've never
right.
picked the I only want to be their TA because I've always liked the professor. But
Mhm.
I'm just making the assumption here that even if you picked I only want to be their TA, that Zoe would be like, okay, well then you need to go talk to Ian and tell him that that's all you want, a professional relationship. Because
Yes.
either way, you get this diamond outfit to go talk to the professor, right?
Right.
So then you either accept or don't accept the diamond outfit, which I personally did not buy. And then as you're on your way out the door,
Yep.
dress on, hair did,
Yep.
everything, you have one last opportunity to turn around and tell Zoe one of like three things.
Mhm.
Thanks for being a good friend.
Yep.
I don't want him, I want you. Or I want you to. What the fuck kind of whiplash ass shit is this?
Yes.
You're
Yes.
telling me 5 minutes ago Zoe was out here getting me made over so I could get undone by the professor. And then as I'm walking out the door, I can be like, yeah, I want you to.
And you know what's so crazy? These lines are inconsistent with the beginning of the book, but consistent with like what goes on the next couple of chapters because they literally flip a switch and Zoe is written like a ally these like next two chapters,
It's so
which is
weird.
so weird. It really
It's so
is.
weird.
I chose the option. It was like, I want to be with you too. And B said something that was like pretty sentimental and was like, she admits that like I have feelings for the professor, but I'm not like stupid to know that like my life would not be what it is without you.
Yes.
And even that dialogue, Zoe says, oh, like of course she kind of like reciprocates it and she's like, who am I to get in the way if you want to go screw the professor? Just don't get caught. And I'm like, bitch.
And I'm like, that's not, and that's the thing is like, that's not exactly what I said though. Like, I said that I have feelings for him, and I just,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know
Exactly.
what's
It's
going
just
on.
it's
I don't know
crazy.
what's going on.
I truly and it's so funny that now I picked the time to digress with Zoe because it's just again like when both the allies is giving me whiplash. I can't win right now. I just can't
Yeah,
win. Anyway,
yeah.
um you will leave the dorm to go to the professor's office where they will surprise you by like closing the door and like, pulling you in and they'll tell you that like, hey, we need to talk about last night. And I was like,
Mhm.
wow, initiative. Okay. Like I was, truly shocked. The professor speaks their candor and admits that like, they felt conflicted and they, tried to keep their space, but you do in fact mean a lot to them. And like you showing up at the gala really did mean a lot to them. And the
Mhm.
professor will flat out ask, like, what do you want? And you can pick, I want you or to keep it professional. Now I'm pretty sure you picked baby Baby Ian, I want you, baby.
Yes.
So, in the midst of like whatever, conclusion to the conversation there's a knock on the door. And how you say this bitch's name? 'Cause every time I look at it, I want to say Margarita.
I don't know.
I'm about to look
Sorry,
it
I don't
up.
know. I don't know.
Marguerite.
Marge, I don't know.
Marge.
The dean.
The dean, right? Marge, the dean,
Right.
is the one in fact knocking on the door. So
Hmm.
before the professor opens it, you kind of like hide under their desk. The dean will kind of walk in and informs the professor that they've been asked to be the keynote speaker at a conference that is held by a an educational group called the Society. The dean will settle in for a long conversation, and B has this like devious idea to have fun with the professor in the middle of one of probably the most important conversations of their life. Did you take this
Yeah.
diamond option?
Before we continue with the rest of the episode, let me interrupt to share our socials. We are at Play Choices Podcast on Instagram, Play Choices Pod on Twitter, and we're also on playchoicespodcast.tumblr.com. I'll post any episode notes relating to this week's episode on Tumblr. We're also available for streaming on all major platforms. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please rate and review, as reviews help us in the platform's algorithm. If you leave us a 5-star review, we'll read it on the podcast. As always, we are a growing podcast. If you see us on your socials, we appreciate a reblog, a retweet, or a share depending on the platform you see us on. We also love it when you share our podcast with your choices-loving friends. And back to the episode. Of
Of
course.
course I did. Of
I
course.
just don't. Why would I not? Because in the next couple of scenes, Ian stays pissing me off. So why wouldn't I make his life a
Yeah.
little bit more
Oh my
inconvenient?
God. Yes, yes, yes. So we both took this diamond scene. Let's get into the nitty gritty. So B will start rubbing the professor. The professor will actually take control of the situation and like egg it on, which was shocking to me. But given the conversation that just happened, I was hopeful, right? I'm like, yes,
Mm-hmm.
finally. I'm like, we about to be together. Um, but the professor's like juggling you and the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and I truly love that. I thought that was hilarious. The dean states that like they will be able to bring the TA. So it's kind of ironic that you're getting all handsy with the professor, and you overhear that basically like you have this opportunity to go with the professor and experience this like wonderful speech, once of a lifetime opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
The dean and the professor will stop talking, and the dean will leave, and that will give you your alone time. And there are a lot of flirty options, there are a lot of kissing, and it's a good scene. Actually, it's a really good scene.
Yeah.
But after the conclusion of said spontaneity, the
Mm-hmm.
professor will then voice their doubts about taking B, because they do not think that they will be able to keep it professional, and they will end up asking for some space, causing B to storm out the office.
That's what I don't. And this is. I'm not on either of their side, and let me explain why.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ian is being very realistic in saying that, like, I do not know if we should spend 3 days together. Because the thing is that when has B ever shown any sort of like willpower in terms of not grabbing the professor's crotch at any hour of the day?
Right, right,
Never.
right.
So the
Absolutely.
professor has a point. They really do. Now,
I
B
agree.
getting
I
upset
I
about this,
agree.
like, oh my god, you're running away from us again, doesn't make any fucking sense. Because it's a 3-day work trip. Why are you trying to go with this
Mm-hmm.
man anyways? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, technically, y'all should not even be making out at Martha's Vineyard in the first place. Because
Absolutely.
it's a work trip, so I don't know why you tripping for. But then the other thing that made me upset was like Ian was like, I need a moment to take a break from the relationship. And I'm like, you literally just had this whole confession scene. Why can't
Absolutely.
we just not go on vacation and come back and be a couple when you get back? That's the part that
Right.
I don't fucking understand. It's like at first I was mad at B, but now I'm mad at Ian. And it's like I
Yes.
don't like either of y'all right
Either of
now.
them, because the conversation could have easily been concluded with like all villains being spared if the professor
Mm-hmm.
was like, no, I'm not backtracking on us, but I do know that this is not like an opportunity that is safe for us to like adventure on. Like, the moment I come back from, again, one of the most important speeches of my academic career, then we could be together. But it's just kind of like naive for B to think that she gonna be pushing buttons.
When is she not? Like,
And
when is she not?
this is an academic Belvoir, conference or whatever. And so just let it go. Just know that you gonna see the professor when they get back.
Yeah, to me, it's like both of them getting on my fucking nerves at this point.
Yes,
Like,
no, truly. So B storms out. B heads back to her dorm, and that's when she runs into Benji. And she's just kind of like, get out of my way. I gotta keep it moving. But she smells her perfume that has been missing for a while.
mhm.
So B will follow the scent, find Benji's dorm room, and confront him. Benji's kind of like, apprehensive on whether or not he should let her in, but eventually he does. And we learned that, Benji's there on scholarship and he has to be an RA as a requirement. And the conversation will shift to Benji gassing you the fuck up and claiming that you are his hero.
It's so weird.
It is absolutely fucking cringy.
It's so weird.
Benji will begin to talk about, like, this party and what you two could do to take another jab at Poppy, because apparently Poppy's, annual party's coming up. You interrupt him and you kind of like send him on this like irrelevant task. And
Go get a
he
drink.
right, because you're so parched you can't breathe. That's what I'm
Right. That shit was so funny. Oh my god. I don't know why that made me laugh so hard.
No, it genuinely made me so like it was hilarious. It was perfect. Benji will leave, and this will allow you to kind of like look through, his things, and you do end up finding his laptop with some dirt that has been gathered about Bradley only publicly dating Poppy. And that their relationship is a scam, and there is evidence to prove that. You can steal this information and use it, as your own weapon for some diamonds. Did you steal the tea?
Oh,
Baby.
yes. The
When I tell
only
you,
fucking thing I'm spending diamonds on these days.
I put that fucking flash drive in that computer so fucking
So fast. I almost bent the fucking flash drive with how fast I put that thing in there.
Okay. So once you download that information, you will see a tab on Benji's computer that is basically your prom queen video from your high school. And that, you're again looking through his stuff and you find out that he did in fact steal your perfume and sprayed it all over the pillows.
Yeah.
No.
Nauseating.
No, it's so
Nauseating.
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 B will get mad and kind of like pick up the pillow and like throw it across the room, and it hits a closet door and it opens it, ajar a little bit. And when B goes over to look inside, it exposes who Benji really is. This man has a shrine of you made from your missing items and rotten food. That's how the chapter ends.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Out of all the places that I thought Queen Bee would take me, this is not it.
I'm telling you, when I first read this scene, I said, what the fuck is going on?
And when I tell you, the chapter title and summary do not even go with the chapter because it's called Undercover. And I think that's a hint towards like being on the download with the professor, but obviously that didn't happen. That blew up in our face one diamond scene, right?
Right.
And secrets are no fun. Well, sometimes, but not really. This ain't no secret. This is scary. This is an obsession.
Yeah.
I don't like this. I do not like this at all.
It's a very uncomfortable scene, and if you feel disturbed, I think it's something that should disturb you.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
very scary when I can't really recall a situation that I've been in that's as extreme as this, but it is scary to know that there's someone who's like been watching you from afar and kind of like, especially I don't know. Let's just go on. It gets even creepier in the next chapter.
It does get creepier. Yeah. Chapter 10 is titled Not Your Hostage, and the chapter summary is The cost of celebrity is high. Now it's time for your breakout hit, literally. Again, this chapter, it gave you a content warning. It's heavily talked about, harassment and a form of abuse, and if that does make you uncomfortable, please join us on another chapter. So the T will post about, Poppy's PDA and, with her man at these like public places, how like they
Yeah.
are a little bit more frequent. Um, and there is talk about you going into Benji's room, but there's no like actual story unfolding. And which I think it's weird how quick the T gets this information. We just walked into this man's room. We
I
look
know.
like like we literally just walked into this man's room,
Do you
and
think she like uploaded it directly from his laptop? Did it say that?
it says maybe our girls are just preoccupied. Poppy was spotted snogging celebrity Bo Bradley, whatever, in no less than 6 strategically public locations this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the T already knows, which I think that is weird for them to preface what you could release because not everyone is going to take that diamond option. If the T already knows that this is kind of weird, why hasn't the T spoke on it
Well,
more?
I think it makes sense though because of what you learn in chapter 10, the editor of the T, like he's been in legal trouble with Poppy before, so it's like you kind of have to have proof that something's correct in order to
Okay, right. Not to be sued by libel. That's right. That's
yeah.
right. We jumping the gun just a little bit. We gonna get
It's
to
fine. We'll get there.
yeah. We'll get to Thomas, his fine
Yeah.
ass. All
Oh,
right.
okay.
Anywho, the chapter will start off with B kind of staring at this shrine that Benji made for you,
Mhm.
and he comes in basically like asking for your approval, like asking if you like
That's
it.
the part. Can I just
Oh
interrupt you
my
really quickly?
god.
That's the part that scared the fuck out of me
Me
because
too.
that motherfucker wasn't even embarrassed
Embarrassed.
that
He
you
was
found it.
no, he was not. No,
Not
he
even
was not.
embarrassed.
This man literally was like, "Oh, do you like it?" And I'm like,
Oh, what did he call it? What did he my adoration
"Admiration?"
station?
Yes.
I said
Yes.
no, lock him up and throw away the key, please. Life
A
sentence.
life sentence, like really life sentence. And can I just say that like B is very brave in this situation, like with some of the dialogue options, because I understand it. He alludes a strawny fucking geek boy, but obviously we do
Mhm.
not know what this man is capable of.
You have no idea if that
We
man has a
do
weapon in
not.
his pocket or anything.
I
Like,
mean,
you just don't know.
anywho, B's phone will ring, and they will both kind of like die for it, and B ends up getting the phone, and the professor's calling. So B will answer the phone and yell like, "Oh my god, help my RA." And then that's
Mhm.
when Benji will grab the phone and kind of like hang
See,
up.
and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There is a difference between someone who is creepy and they don't know it, and someone who's creepy and knows they're doing something wrong. And that's what when he grabbed the phone,
Yup.
I said, "No, we are going to die." I literally
Yes.
thought we were going to die. Like I was like, "We are going to die."
This, when I tell you definitely these 3 chapters, nothing I could anticipate at all
Nothing.
whatsoever. At
Mm-mm.
all. This is a curveball that makes sense. I think the writing in Queen Bee is so beautiful because they literally let you know like, hey, my brawl's missing. Hey, this is missing. Hey, this is missing.
Yeah.
And you kind of like forget about it until you see all
Well,
these
that's why.
items.
The first time that you play through, you're like, why would they even mention a detail like my bra?
Yes. 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 If they pull this same stunt in Queen Bee 2, which is out by the way,
It is
um,
out.
I I'm gonna pay attention. I'm gonna start looking at everybody.
Right.
Like I'm gonna start looking at everybody. It does not matter. So while Benji's kind of like expressing his obsession with you, the
Mm-hmm.
phone will keep going off because the professor stay texting you because obviously the situation is very strange to them and they want to make sure that you're okay.
Yeah.
And Benji will get aggravated and look at the phone and see who is blowing your phone up and see that it's the professor. And you are given the option to like be honest and be like, yes, the professor's my lover, more of a lover than you'll ever be, or you can cover up the, the fact that you guys are together.
I don't even understand why you would tempt some crazy ass bitch like this.
I
Like,
mean,
why?
here's
What's
the
the
thing.
benefit?
There are only cons to this
There's only
because
cons. There's nothing good that can come out of this
But-
situation.
and when I was doing some research on some diamond scenes to see what would happen if someone did choose that first option of like, yeah, the professor's my lover, there were people who
Hmm.
chose it. And Benji straight up like threatens them. And
Oh
I'm
my
like, oh,
god!
Benji will straight up be like, oh, the professor seduced you. Like, I will protect you from them. Like, I won't let them lay a hand on you. And even if you choose, the option you should be choosing, no T, is the whole like, oh, me, I'm just the professor's TA. Benji still has this line in there that's like kind of threatening.
Yeah.
Yeah, still kind of like, oh well, I'll definitely make sure they won't touch you.
Yeah.
And be over here threatening him in front of his face, like this situation, this chapter gave me so much anxiety, so much
Like
anxiety.
if I was B, I would be like, you know what? You kind of cute though, and just wait for
Right,
wait until you can get the fucking phone. You know what I mean?
right. Um, Benji will admit that they are the ones who have been posting positive stories about you to the T to combat the corrupt institution of what the T stands for and how everyone like loves Poppy. He also hacked the ranking system and made Chloe number
Mm-hmm.
one and Poopy number two. And not to mention, Benji again is the RA. And so he reveals that like he has keys to all the dorms, and that's how
It's so scary.
oh, so scary. That's how he
So
was
scary.
able to sneak in and steal your stuff in order to make this shrine. B will again kind of call him out on his creepiness, and you have an option to leave or rough him up if you choose, kind of teach him a lesson. I personally chose to rough him up.
Of course.
And when I tell you, you start, roughing him up a little bit, and it'll let you select a weapon. I died. You hear me? I died because
Yes. Which one do you pick?
I chose the brawl.
Yeah, me too.
I chose the brawl.
The way it describes B putting it around his neck and then putting the knee on the back, I was like, God damn, B.
I'm telling you,
You
she
don't
starts
fuck
like,
with a bitch who wrestle pigs, okay?
no. She like whipping him with the. I listen.
That shit was so funny.
Am I a gay male? Yes, but do I know that the edge of the brawl that connects to your back part be having the metal
That shit
pieces?
hurts. That shit hurts. Have you, let me tell you, everybody who wears a bra, anybody who's listening who has ever worn a bra, you ever accidentally snap that shit against your own back when you try to take it off? That bitch will have you crying. And she's got it on the corner of his eye. I know that shit hurt.
I mean, she really was fighting for her life. Like she really was.
Right.
After you rough him up a little bit and you teach him a lesson, beat him around the dorm, there's like a list of options. You can threaten a restraining order, you can threaten that you're gonna kill him, or you can make his life a living hell.
I
Which
told him I
is
was gonna
just
kill him.
yes, queen. Yes. I said make your life a living hell.
I said I will kill you if you come after me again.
Which is very I just feel like those dialogue options it's just weird because well, I don't know how the scene will play out if you chose to leave the situation and like run away and not beat him up. But on our version, the professor will kick down the door, honey, and defend
The
your
wood
aunt.
splinters.
Oh,
It literally says the
yes.
wood splinters.
Yes. And he defends your honor. He punches Benji in the face and he's like, don't
Mm-hmm.
ever, you're not going to touch her again.
Yep.
Police come storming in. They arrest Benji, which is why I feel like the option was just a little like redundant because he got arrested anyway. So, like, that really should have been the only option of like, Benji, you're going to jail, right? Like,
Right.
you breaking the internet, like, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
But either way, the police will rush in, arrest Benji, only for the professor to kind of like run to your side, tend to you. And then, hours will pass. You gave the officers, your statement and accounts of the event. And the professor will kind of like take you in, shelter you, shut down the cops and be like, that's enough. Do you need any more information? And he'll take you away from the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And, it makes a note that the professor's like notably pissed about the whole situation,
Yeah.
which I was like, oh, that's so endearing. After leaving the shrine, you head back to your dorm and you will kind of, calm the professor, talk with them a little bit, and the professor will admit that they are pissed that Benji idolized you so much that he alluded to himself that you were his and that you owed him. And I think that was the most like scary line to read to me.
Yeah,
For me,
whenever he said like I'm entitled to, and it's like
yes,
nobody asked
yes,
you to do this, and even if I did,
yes,
that doesn't mean you're entitled to anything.
absolutely. It was very like, I was just in my bed. Every dialogue option, I got that cold chill. I'm like, Benji, stop. Like,
Yeah,
who?
no. I remember when I first read this scene, like I literally felt like my body like run cold. Like I was like, hold
Yes.
up,
Yes. I'm trying to tell
put
you,
the
most
fear
of
of
the
God into me, bruh.
absolutely. Most of the time I can guess like what choices is gonna do with like, their writing
Mhm.
style in the chapter, but this,
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
Um, but the professor is giving an they are given an order to kind of like stay close near the front office of the dorm building just in case you need anything, but
Mhm.
they do offer to make you dinner. And once that offer is made, Zoe will actually call, informing that the story on the about how the T already fucking posted about it because they know everything.
Yeah.
And Zoe will also try to make dinner plans with you. So you have both your allies, kind of trying to make these plans with you. Obviously, we probably both went with Ian.
I honestly, of course, I took the Ian scene, but I kind of wish I had just picked none because even
Yes.
the Ian scene kind of sucks.
Oh
Zoe
no
is
no
not
no.
really like the best LI right now, so I kind of just wish I'd
Exact.
picked
Thank you.
none.
How ironic. I'm so glad you said that. Let's hyper focus on that for a second.
Mhm.
The irony of Zoe having the better LI scene when she's not even written like a LI.
I
I was
know.
so pissed. I was so pissed because I chose Ian's scene. And then obviously through research, I found Zoe's scene. And I'm like, why is this one better? Like,
Yeah.
like you said, I really wish I would have just chose no one.
Before we continue with the rest of the episode, I do want to remind everyone that if you have any questions or comments that you would like to be included in a future episode, please email us at playchoicespodcast@gmail.com. Questions can be related to books we've recorded episodes on, books that we haven't read yet, or even questions you'd like to ask us. Please specify if you want a shout out, otherwise all emails will be anonymous. Alternatively, you can go to our Ask box on playchoicespodcast.tumblr.com and submit a question. Just specify that is for the podcast and we'll be sure to include it. And back to our episode. The Ian scene's very cute until you get back to the same kind of bullshit that we've
Yep.
been going through
The
for the
Sour Patch
past like
Professor.
chapter and a half.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then it's like, I just kind of want you to leave now. Like, this is getting more
Yes.
stressful than it is like, you said you wanted to provide me some comfort, help me forget about what happened. And it's like, the only way I'm forgetting it is by you irritating the fuck out of me and giving me another problem to think about. And like, that's not why I want
Absolutely.
you over here right now. So, like, you just need to go.
Absolutely. So no matter what diamond option you choose, they are pretty similar except for two major differences. One being if you choose Zoe's scene, Zoe could actually cook. And Ian, whatever he tried to make you, it ended up being like burnt pasta noodles and splattered pasta sauce. Like
You
it
know
just
what?
was.
I can't defend my man here. I really can't. I don't know how this man has multiple degrees and is a professor, but he doesn't know how to boil pasta.
Pasta.
It literally said in the narration of the Ian scene that he put Lord, let me
Speak the
it
candor.
literally said that he put the noodles. First of all, he turned the stove on, so the burner's on
On.
already, okay?
Yeah.
He put the noodles and then poured water on top of the noodles.
Yes.
And then he read the instructions to the spaghetti sauce.
It was pathetic. You hear me? It's
It's
so
just
pathetic.
really not good.
Um,
Really not good.
there is an option to not an option, it's written in, but you end up getting a massage from your chosen ally. And again, the
Okay.
only difference with this is that Zoe's scene is taken further and there is more flirting, more kissing, and Zoe actually stays the night with B. And like,
See,
yeah,
and you know
I'm
what?
trying to tell. Go ahead, baby. See, be pissed. Be pissed.
That's what I needed. That's
That's
really
what
what
I
I needed from
needed.
Ian. And Ian could not put aside his just completely insufferable existential
Yes.
dread aside for
Yes.
one night to comfort me.
I was kidnapped, ho. You can't hold me for one night when you were given the okay. You were literally given the okay to kind of like, you had an excuse to be near me. You had an excuse
Right.
to stay the night if that's what you wanted. And you still
Right.
thinking about what?
Yeah.
This, baby, this school is worried about pressing charges on Benji right now. Now's the time. There ain't nobody focused on you. Like, truly pissed me off.
It just made me
Um,
so upset.
I'm trying to tell you.
And that scene was so long too because you had
It
to
was
watch him
yes.
make dinner, fuck it up, spill
Yep.
it on himself,
Yep.
then go to the bedroom, and then you get blue balls, and then
Yep.
this even the scene where he's leaving is like 14 dialogue lines too long. I
Yes.
just started clicking through it because I said,
Yes.
I'm bored, baby. I'm bored. You're
Yes.
boring me.
It is so dramatic. Like they have an option to be like, good night, B. I like they're about to say something else, and it's like so dramatic, like they cut themselves off and they're just like, good night. Sir, you could have all that, you could have been out the dorm already. You could have been
Truly.
like, come on. The following day, you will wake up to coffee and Zoe and a post highlighting everything that happened. Benji gets expelled, and everyone is talking about the hell that you survived. This is when you decide to share the information on Poppy and her fake boyfriend if you took that diamond scene.
Hmm.
Zoe and B will leave the dorm in an attempt to get some gelato, but instead you encounter Poppy in the courtyard. After, the normal bitchy pleasantries, you hear that Poppy is blasting a dubstep remix to your hog calling video. We still on this?
Can I pause? In addition to me being irritated because for some reason we still talking about this fucking hog calling
Hog calling
shit,
video.
like it's still not done. It's like the other thing that made me mad because the moment that I came out, all of a sudden Poppy is like, "Oh, you just lied about being kidnapped because you didn't want to be seen with him." And I was like, there's only so many things that you can do that are bitchy that I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of funny." But there's really nothing funny about trying to insinuate that someone's lying about being stalked and harassed.
Absolutely.
And like I just don't like it's just a visual novel app, and I'll say that like you are allowed to ship whoever the fuck you want to ship. But for me, I was like, any pretense of Poppy potentially becoming a love interest later in the series is just gone after that comment. Like, to me, that's just kind of something that's irredeemable to doubt someone's harassment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was truly a slap in the face. And it gets worse later on as well, and we'll
Oh
discuss it.
yeah.
But it's like coming from who Poppy is, I I don't know why they wrote that the way they did because I don't think that Poppy would do that in real life. Just because like I feel like she and this is no shade, she probably get kidnapped every other week being as high status and rich as she is. And I can only imagine what her and her family has had to do to like survive like these creepy stalkers or like whoever's after their family. For Poppy to make a comment like that.
Oh,
It was just truly like I just didn't.
I I see where you're coming from, and I'm
Mhm.
not saying like I definitely see like, oh, the same thing could happen to her.
Right,
But I
right.
also see the other side of it where very well, like maybe something like this has never happened to her because her family has always had money and therefore they've always known how to protect Poppy appropriately.
True,
You know
true.
what I mean? And plus the fact that like Poppy's rarely ever alone. Like she always got what do they call her, Cerberus
Yeah,
following her. Like
yes,
she's never
yes.
really alone kind of thing.
That is
And
very true. That is
Poppy just
true.
kind of has this aura about her where she's like untouchable. So like maybe she thinks it like wouldn't happen to her if it never has. But I don't know. Just because like you haven't played the rest of the book, but there are like other things that Poppy does where I'm like, you are no longer at this point like just being like a bitch. Like at this point, you're just a straight up like an abuser at a certain point. And you'll
Oh,
see like
okay.
later scenes later on in the book what I'm talking about, but like it truly gets worse from here. It really
Damn.
does.
Okay, okay, okay. B would just kind of like hold her head up high and accept the video for who she is as a person, and this will allow people to like kind of stop paying attention to this big huge billboard playing the video, but
Mhm.
give their attention to B, and people will start asking questions about like how she feels about the whole Benji situation and like, her survival basically. The article will hit about Poppy's fake contract signed relationship, and everyone would start talking shit about that. Like the way B uploaded that right before she left the house, had this encounter with Poppy, and then the T posted that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. After, Poppy, making her fake threats, you know her. She's
Right.
threats, calls you a hog bitch in the box.
Dog bitch.
you know, Thomas, the editor, will pop up and they kind of exchange some words with you and like ask some questions about a post that he wants to do for the blog that following night. And your answers provoke like encouragement and reputation points, and just like really like lifts you up. Everyone is like gassing you up. That's when Poppy gets mad and she's like, you know what, I'm out of here, bye bitch. That is when you and Thomas have a little private talk at a picnic table, and he will inform you that he has good information about Poppy and her family that could end up taking the whole family down, not just Poppy, the whole family. But he is scared to go against Poppy because she almost had him expelled for speaking the truth in the past,
Mm-hmm.
for libel. So not only is this man potentially could have gotten expelled, but also a heavy lawsuit. So Thomas
Yeah.
is, like, listen, I want to help you out, but like I can't voice this. And you have the power, the money, and the gall to do so. So like you kind of want to team up. And so there is an option, a diamond option, for you to hear the news and recruit Thomas as an ally. Did you take this scene?
Yes. I have conflicted feelings about it, but just
Okay.
go ahead and yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead and
yeah.
go
Okay,
over what
we'll
it
talk
is.
about it. Yeah, of course. Thomas would tell you that Poppy's mom had an affair and that Poppy has done literally everything to like kind of keep this under the rug. And once you retrieve all this information, you kind of like can pick when you choose to release this article, which I thought was interesting because the two options were you can do it in like an untraceable way, or you
Mm-hmm.
can knowingly post this when you know that it will hurt Poppy the most.
Yeah.
I decided to be brave and I was like, I'm a post it when I know it's gonna hurt her the most. So I'm kind
Oh.
yes, I'm a little what's the word? Intrigued on how this will play out in my upcoming episodes, in my upcoming
Because
chapters.
I picked when it would be untraceable.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if we're gonna have different moments where like maybe yours comes out at a different, I don't know.
Right, right. Stay tuned, guys.
Right.
So B would take Zoe back to the dorm and they would kind of gossip over the tea and like what Thomas gave you. And there are some pictures, emails, read receipts, basically everything to solidify that the affair was happening. There hasn't been any recent development because they stopped 3 years ago when Thomas, I guess, originally was about to make this public. And there is like an honest conversation about whether B should upload this file, but they kind of put like the, morality on the back burner a little bit and decide to discuss it
Yeah.
at a later time, which that whole scene is kind of written weird to me a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like that wouldn't, I feel like that shouldn't have been written until the moment you could have posted it or not, because I understand what they're doing, but the amount of shitty shit that Poppy is going to probably do to me in these next upcoming chapters before I even get the opportunity to upload this, I'm going to just want to upload it. I really am.
Mm,
I think I would be like, I would do it out of spite and vengeance than I would if they would have like had this conversation right before I was about to post it, because Zoe does kind of like, hey, listen, this is some heavy shit. Maybe you shouldn't post this, or like maybe you should, think about posting it. I don't think this conversation is going to happen again when you get the opportunity to post it. And I could be wrong, but yeah. How did you feel about this conversation between these two characters?
I don't know. I kind of am on Zoe's side a little bit now. That is notwithstanding the things that Poppy could do.
Right, right.
Depending on what Poppy does, to me, the line is wherever Poppy draws it. So
Exactly.
if Poppy keeps pushing the line further and further to the point where this seems acceptable content to post, then I'll post it.
Right.
But it does seem like Oof. I get the same icky feeling because it's like Thomas is on your side, but it's like he was about to expose Poppy's family like that, and it's just like, is he like a fair weather ally? You know what I mean?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Because it's like,
Because
if the same drama came out about me, would he be like, oh, I'm gonna post this, and then we'd have to threaten him with a lawsuit in order to get out of it? You know what I mean? Like,
right,
I don't. It's Thomas kind of gives me a little bit of icky
and I
because
understand
he
that.
doesn't have a moral line to
Exactly.
draw, and then it's like, what would Poppy have to do in order for me to want to post this? Like,
It's a lot of gray area because
yeah,
at the end of the day, the conversation was, okay, let's team up. But I hope B, we talk about how naive she is. Thomas is not loyal to B. He's loyal to what
no.
she can do.
And that's
The
really what I would say about pretty much all of B's posse,
True,
right?
true.
How many of them are actually loyal to her versus just like, I would like to get away from Poppy?
Like the only person that did she blackmail Poppy's assistant?
Mm, I don't think
I
so,
think
but
that
she
was the
was, in my
only.
opinion, still
Oh,
manipulating her.
absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. And when you take a powerful player like Thomas, because I not that the her other bitches against Poppy couldn't hurt her, but Thomas has all the power. He has a direct correlation to the T. Like
yeah,
that man could ruin you,
yeah.
and it is a lot of trust
It's
to.
like trying to be friends with Perez Hilton. Like, I just
Absolutely. This isn't like a partnership. This is the enemy
working
of my
relationship.
enemy. Yes,
It's
the
a
enemy
working
of my
relationship.
enemy is my
Yeah.
friend. The enemy of my
Yes.
enemy. Yes, right. The moment enemies don't line up, okay. But
Mm-hmm.
either way, Thomas will, later that night, Thomas will in fact post the interview that he had with B, outside of, the courtyard. Everyone will be sending you these like uplifting comments about the situation in the interview that Thomas had just posted until someone who is named anonymous starts poking holes, giving Benji the benefit of the doubt and saying that B might have made up everything. And I'm just kind of like, we still talking about this, huh? Like we still
Mm-hmm.
trying to like, you know, like downplay the severity of the situation, which is just like I was so annoyed at this point that this keeps coming back up and they make this like a plot point. But either way, Zoe will take your phone, tell you to calm down, chill, and then that's when there's like a knock on the door. When you answer it, you'll see an invitation to Poppy's party and a dress that is meant to be worn at said party. And that's how chapter 10 concludes.
Well, let's also be specific. Is that the dress is like this like grandma style
Yeah.
moo for a party where you're supposed to be wearing lingerie.
Like she playing games. And that's what I'm saying. You know what? This video is looking more. No, let me stop. Let me stop.
No.
Let's go ahead and do rapid fire. Right.
Okay.
Only the prominent characters in these like last chapters. But
Yeah.
let's start off with the professor.
Um, he's been difficult lately.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
all. I'll leave it at that.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Zoe.
Also difficult. I would say more so confusing than difficult. More so very conflicting.
Yes, 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 yes. I agree. Poopy.
Mm, starting to cross the line for me.
Benji.
Go to jail.
Yeah, go to jail. Like literally go to jail.
Handcuffs, solitary confinement, please. Life sentence, no opportunity for parole, things like that.
Veronica.
Just very boring, bland.
Yes,
One of the
yes.
not, pretty much kind of fits in with the theme of the rest of her posse, which is like, I don't really know if I can trust her, kind of thing.
And
But
last but not least is Mr. Thomas.
Mr. Thomas, Mr. Don't trust.
Mr.
That's
Don't
how
touch
I feel.
Mr. Snake. Mr. Snake.
Yeah, Mr. is nice to us for now.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like everyone, I'm just in this chapter by myself apparently because everyone is pissing me
Yeah.
off. Like everyone.
Everybody's getting on my nerves, so.
At this point, I'm liking the tea more than I like all y'all. Like, because
Yeah, I feel like the tea, at least, like, people post their opinions, and if they want to talk shit, it's like they can show support or talk shit. So at least people on the tea, like, where they stand.
exactly,
Some of these
exactly.
other people, I'm like, y'all are playing this like really fierce. I kind of wish like we had never entered this competition. Like, I just don't understand why we took Poppy needing to put us down on the first day as like a personal vendetta, try to get to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Because like
Mm-hmm.
honestly, it's like I feel like the people in the 300s are probably living their best lives. Like they're
They
probably just unstressed, unbothered, just going to class and studying and doing what they're supposed to
And
do.
also, there is a difference between like being unpopular and being poor, right? Because like there
Yes.
was a strict comment made that Benji was at that university on full scholarship, which is why he had to be an RA. So these other people who go to this university, it's not, saying that like they're poor, they're just unpopular. So
Yeah.
they're unbothered but still rich. Like, how amazing does that sound? Like,
I know, and like their biggest problem is like, oh my god, I'm rank 159. Like, oh my
right,
god.
right. They still eating, they still getting their degree, and they're living a stress-free life. And we over here battling, a gang of bitches at any given moment.
Just getting ganged up on at every, like, just cyberbullied in every chapter.
Uh,
Like, this is not fun anymore.
okay, we is just getting led on by every single character, not knowing if we could trust them, and that's the professor included. Like,
Absolutely.
how you gonna save my life and then be like, "Good night"? Ah, I'm over it. Just you should have let
Like,
him just get
you
me.
almost lost me. That's the thing is, like, at least in the nanny affair, when we had a scene like that, like, we got to have a romantic one-on-one time with our ally, but with that, we can't even have that with the professor
At
here.
all. And the dialogue was written in such a way that was like, if you die, I would have died, B. Eh,
Yeah,
You
pretty much.
you not showing me. You not
But I
showing
still
me.
can't be with you.
You know what? This professor. Ew! I'm shipping the professor. This professor got 6 chapters to get it together. You hear me?
Damn, you gonna give him 6? We already on chapter 10. You giving him damn near the rest of the book.
That's because what is Zoe gonna do? Kiss me and then send me on my way? Like,
Pretty much. I mean, that's what the professor's doing right now.
I guess so. Yeah. But I have
Mm.
more internal monologues about the professor than
Yeah.
Zoe. But yes, that concludes our episode for today. Thank you so much for giving me another opportunity to host this V.
Yeah, I think people were a big fan of you hosting, so I figured why not pass the baton?
Teach me, Professor.
I am the generous queen. Ask Miss Ellen.
Period. Period. Period.
Even though it's hard to be a barb these days. It's
It's
real
hard.
rough
No,
out
no,
in these
no.
streets
She
being a barb.
again. It's real. I mean, it's really hard. Even the barbs agree. We kind of like, oh, she making it hard for us out here. Okay.
Every day when I see a Nicki Minaj trend, I just start sweating because
I
I just do not know what's
know.
coming next.
I know. It's either something problematic or like some gorgeous photo that's trending, and it's like, oh, I'm sick.
I used to blast her music, and now I listen to it in the dark light of the car
Yes, yeah.
on the quietest
Definitely
volume.
a guilty pleasure. Definitely.
Definitely my problematic, not really even a fave anymore, just a problematic listen.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. But thank you guys for joining us. We will have a new episode next week, and I'm about to leave it to my
Saturday.
main. Yes,
hmm
yeah. I was about to say I'm about to leave it to my main to plug the socials.
Amen. So if you want to find us on our socials, on Tumblr's playchoicespodcast at tumblr.com, on Instagram, playchoicespodcast, on Twitter, playchoicespod. We release this episode every Saturday at midnight ET. That would be 9 p.m. PT as well. Also, not exactly related to the podcast, but somewhat adjacent to the podcast, is I stream now. I don't know why I said now as if it's new. I've been doing it for quite a few months now.
All
And that's
right.
it.
All right. We'll see you on the flip side, guys.
Bye.
Bye.